Let's see. You remember the West African immigrant who was shot and killed? 4 officers stood trial for that. His name was Amadou Diallo. He was reaching for his wallet, and the cops thought he was reaching for a gun, and they blew him away. Hillary, by the way, referred to the officers as murderers. They were tried. A multi-ethnic jury found them not guilty. Associated Press, quote, 2 strategies by defense lawyers resulted in acquittals. The first was winning a change of venue. Quote, the second was putting the 4 officers on the stand, one after another, end of quote. New York Times, officers take the stand in Freddie Gray case. NPR, NPR, Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke takes stand in Laquan McDonald murder trial. Oh, and don't get me started on Rodney King, where all 4 of the officers took the stand. So it is not uncommon for officers to take the stand, sir. I'm just telling you. Now, I was telling you yesterday that very likely they're going to talk about the confusion and the crowd and this man resisting. And there was a very lengthy cross-examination of one of the most important witnesses of the trial. His name is Lieutenant Johnny Mursell. He is a use of force expert.
It's fair to say that when you train a police officer, you're training them in particular moves that will help improve their ability to gain compliance of a subject, right?
That's the goal, yes, sir.
But certainly there's no strict application of every single rule, agreed? Or every single technique.
That is correct.
Officers.
Objection. Which question is it for? Every move or every?
Objection is sustained. Compound question. Rephrase.
Sure.
Answers are stricken.
There is no strict application of every technique that an officer is trained, is there?
No.
Officers are trained to be fluid, correct?
Yes, sir.
And sometimes officers have to do things that are unattractive to other people.
Correct.
In terms of the use of force.
Yes, sir.
And an officer, you would agree that being a police officer is a relatively dangerous job?
Yes, sir.
You yourself, in the course of your career, have had to use force against suspects?
Yes, sir.
You've arrested many people, I presume?
Yes, sir.
And would you agree that sometimes people aren't particularly happy about being arrested?
Very rarely, sir.
And sometimes they fight with you?
Yes, sir.
And sometimes they argue with you?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes they make excuses?
Yes, sir.
And ultimately, one of the things that a police officer has to do is try to determine, is this person pretending or trying to give me some excuse not to get arrested, or is this person experiencing some other crisis, right?
Yes.
Right? And ultimately, in terms of an arrest, that's one of the things that an officer has to ascertain, right?
Yes, sir.
And again, when you've arrested people, have you had people plead with you not to arrest them?
Yes, sir.
Talk about reasonable doubt being established. All that and more. 888-971-SAGE. I am Larry Elder.